Hulk versus Doomsday. It's one of the most iconic comic book fights out there. But today, we're going to try and settle it once and for all. So let's get to it. And first, let's take a look at both these guys' strength levels. Now, there have been a whole lot of different incarnations of the Hulk over the years. We're using a composite version of the character, same with Doomsday, and one thing is for sure, each version of the Hulk is incredibly strong. So strong, in fact, there have been several moments where Hulk has been fighting against another dude, where it's another Hulk, or the Red Hulk, or giant talking pigs, and each time, he's been shaking the entire world with his punches, causing earthquakes all over the world. During his World Breaker phase, well, Hulk was so powerful that first off, none of the Avengers could even get close to him, much less stop him. And second, he was so powerful that he was threatening to level Manhattan and destroy the entire East Coast with each step that he took. Not when Hulk was kicking or like trying to unleash an attack, no, each step that he took. Another time when he was on Sakaar, where the planet was threatening to break apart, rip right in two. And so Hulk just decided to jump on down there, dive to the center of the planet, and held the planet together. Then another time while Hulk was back in his World Breaker phase, was in a whole different dimension, and fighting against Red She-Hulk. They were going at it. So much so, Hulk literally destroyed the planet they were on and some of the surrounding moons just from the shockwaves of his attacks. So, literally a world breaker. And you know what? There have been other times where Hulk is generating enough power to hold back a planet-destroying threat. Or he's strong enough to support the weight of a whole star. These are just some of the incredible things that the Incredible Hulk has done. If there's one thing the big guy is known for, it's his strength, and he has a ton of it. Well, on the other hand, Doomsday is essentially the living embodiment of death. Darkseid himself called him death personified. And with accolades like that, you gotta be impressive. And Doomsday really is. In fact, Doomsday is really gonna wow you with his ability to throw a punch, to just leave you a bloodied mess after just a few hits. Superman said that Doomsday could rip the planet in half if he really wanted to. And man, he's sent Supergirl flying. He's knocked around Wonder Woman. He's overpowered both Orion and Martian Manhunter. John said that he'd never been hit as hard as he's been hit by Doomsday. He's even taken down the whole Justice League before. I mean, Doomsday has trounced the League all by himself. And there have been all his fights against Superman. He's punched Superman like he's never been hit before. He can hit harder than anybody else Superman has fought. And Doomsday just continues to get stronger and stronger as they fight. I mean, there was a reason why they created this guy back in the 90s in the comics. It was literally to kill Superman, to be stronger, to be more powerful than Superman. And man, has he shown that over the years. He might have even shown that he's more powerful than Superman's ultimate villain, Darkseid. He's fought against Darkseid, overpowered Darkseid, beat Darkseid all up, just trashed the guy and left him for dead. Literally left him on the verge of death where he could barely stand, and Superman had to step in and save the guy's life. That's how bad Doomsday beat Darkseid, the Lord of Apocalypse. Yeah, Doomsday is no joke. Of course, there is the caveat where Doomsday might not have fought against the real Darkseid. There's this thing called True Form Darkseid, where Darkseid is actually a being beyond even our universe, and so he's constantly operating by using avatars, never really using his real power or his true form. So whenever Darkseid has a low showing, like when he was mugged by two randoms, or when he fell and tripped down some stairs, or like when he lost to Doomsday, well, you can just say that was an avatar of Darkseid, not really Darkseid. So I guess take it with a grain of salt. But again, all of this is just some of the stuff that these characters have done over the years. And for all intents and purposes, both of their strength levels are in fact infinite. However, that being said, Hulk has better pure straight up feats. Hulk is able to shatter dimensions, shake the whole multiverse. When Hulk stops holding back and his rage truly takes over, well, Hulk is able to stand up to King Thor when he had the entire Odin force on his side. Basically, Thor was a high outer versal level being, and Hulk was able to match up to him. And then he also fought the one below all, literally the embodiment of all the destruction and hate in the multiverse, in the opposite side of the one above all, the supreme ruler of the multiverse. Hulk managed to stand up to him. Doomsday has done a lot of impressive stuff, like for instance, he plowed through many different versions of Gog, who were able to fight against members of the Justice Society and defeat Kingdom Come Superman. But I still think I gotta give the edge to the Hulk. Now, what about durability? Well, it's basically the same thing. It's near dead even. Like, Hulk is quite possibly one of the toughest heroes to put down out there. Just a big, rage-fueled, green, muscle amped up guy who just refuses to go down. He can take countless punches from Hercules, can take an absurd amount of attacks from Thor, can battle against Sentry, or sometimes even several of those guys all at once, and not go down. Just refuse to quit. And all of these guys are packing planetary level strength too. Probably way more than that if we're being honest. And it's not like Hulk is limited to just that either. He's taken magical energy that was said to be 100 times stronger than Hercules' strongest punch. He's taken energy attacks that can easily destroy planets, and if anything ever does injure him, well, Hulk can almost immediately heal from it. Like just in an instant. Even so much that a future version of the Hulk, Maestro, implied that he could heal and return to life if he was literally reduced to a fine powder. And as for the immortal Hulk, well, Hulk is literally that, immortal. Even if you do manage to kill him, which is dang near impossible, his healing factor is one of the best in comics. Well, Hulk will just come back from death itself. He's literally unkillable. And it's really the same with Doomsday. He's taken attacks from Wonder Woman, from Martian Manhunter, from a lot of Kryptonians, from Superman himself. He's taken punches from Superman before, where Clark said he was hitting him with everything he's got. He's taken thousands of punches from Superman all in an instant. He's been sent flying around and landing all over the place by Superman on just a semi-regular basis, and Doomsday constantly just refuses to go down. The guy just doesn't quit. It took literally everything that Superman had in him to put Doomsday down the first time around. It literally killed him. And it's not just like punches and kicks, although Doomsday can definitely, obviously, take those. He's also taken Superman's heat vision, blast from Green Lanterns, Orion's energy beams. A Guardian of the Universe went full-on kamikaze on him. And you know what? Just barely put Doomsday out. He came back a little while later. Even Darkseid's Omega Beams were enough to put Doomsday down for like maybe a few seconds. Just enough time for Darkseid to turn around, get a few steps away, then Doomsday is right back there just scratching up his back. Doomsday took a blast 1,000,000 times bigger than a nuclear bomb and was just laughing moments later. And here's the real kicker. Doomsday quite literally cannot be killed. He can't be permanently put down. He's always gonna keep on coming back. No matter what you throw at him, no matter what you send his way, you can even straight up kill him. Doomsday is still gonna keep on coming back. Doomsday's literally evolved past death. Death is just a temporary thing for him. He'll always come back from it, no matter what. And he gets more and more powerful each time. He evolves with each death that he goes through, so he can't be killed the same way twice. Since there's only a finite number of ways to kill a Doomsday, makes sense that at some point along the way, we're just gonna run out of ways to continue killing Doomsday. One day, somewhere along the way here, he's just gonna be truly unkillable. Literally nothing is gonna be able to stop him. Of course, Hulk is now literally immortal as well, so good luck killing him too. Like we said, he's also got one of the best healing factors in all of comics, so it's not just that he's impossible to kill, he's pretty much impossible to actually injure. Both are insanely impressive and dang near unbeatable. But you want to know something funny? Like, I'm repping Doomsday, I'm for Doomsday, I'm pro Doomsday. This is a pro Doomsday video, this is a pro Doomsday YouTube channel. But here's the thing, I actually think Doomsday is a little bit overrated sometimes. He might not quite be as powerful as we make him out to be. Now, hear me out. Doomsday is still insanely powerful. It's just that pretty much all of his best stuff comes from the Hunter-Prey storyline. Like, let's do a little study here. Let's divide Doomsday up into eras. OG Doomsday, right after his creation, was a pretty powerful monster. This was when he was created on Krypton thousands of years ago by a scientist named Bertrand as just a living weapon of mass destruction. It was basically done by creating a hybrid, leaving it out in the wilderness, letting it die and be killed, then using its genetic material to make an even more powerful clone of that hybrid before it. This went on countless times. Doomsday was killed countless times. It went through millions of years of evolution in basically a few decades. And that's how we got this guy. He killed several Green Lanterns, was only somewhat stopped by a Guardian sacrificing himself. This version of Doomsday died when he fought the Radiant, though. In fact, the Radiant killed him so badly that Doomsday spent like the following millennia healing, drifting through space and eventually falling to Earth. When he woke up in the present day, which is where we got Death of Superman, well, he was still pretty powerful, even slightly stronger than Superman was at the time. He fought a trash tier version of the Justice League. Some real C and D tier heroes kicked their butts, but he was also lucky. Martian Manhunter was incapacitated by fire, and Maxima just kinda wandered around. There was a moment in the fight where Superman and Maxima together had Doomsday on the ropes, but an explosion separated them and Superman was back to being alone. Supergirl was one-shotted, arguably Doomsday's best feat in the story arc, and Superman was forced to fight him to the last breath just to avoid human casualties. In the end, we saw pretty clearly that Superman was not as strong as Doomsday. He had occasional help during the fight, but Superman was strong enough to mostly hang with him in a fight, going as far as breaking some of Doomsday's bones, messing up his face. Sometime later, Doomsday came back in Hunter-Prey. That's where all the hype around him comes from. At that point, Superman's power was really starting to increase and reach the levels he's known for. But there's one problem with this storyline, and that's the fact that writer Dan Jorgens has some pretty strong opinions regarding power scaling. Did I say strong opinions? Because you can also just mean wrong opinions. He openly admitted in an interview that he considers Darkseid to be a weak physical villain. So therefore, he wrote Doomsday kicking Darkseid's butt unapologetically. That inconsistency aside though, Doomsday does have some other very impressive feats throughout the arc. He killed the Radiant, the guy who originally defeated him. And then Superman amped himself a mother box and had help from the Wave Rider, and Doomsday was still comfortably winning the fight. Doomsday was still not absolutely unstoppable or just unthinkably powerful though. Remember in Avengers Endgame where Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor fought against Thanos? That's about how this fight went too. Doomsday is still comfortably winning, but not by an absolutely insane degree. Next up was the Doomsday Wars. That's when Brainiac transferred his mind to Doomsday's body and kicked the real JLA's butt. Possibly Doomsday's absolute best feat, just if we ignore the fact that it was Brainiac in control. Then came Our Worlds at War. Here, Doomsday was mind-controlled into thinking Impurex was Superman, and Doomsday was set free to destroy dozens of Impurex probes. Another contender for probably his best feat ever. I mean, just one probe is enough to fight against Superman, nearly beat Superman, and Doomsday is ripping through tons of these things. But once Doomsday faced the real Impurex though, he was killed and reduced to a smoking skeleton in a single attack. And Doomsday died like, for real. For real, for real. So even at his most powerful, his limits were pretty clear, all things considered. And here's the thing, after dying at Impurex's hands, Doomsday never really returned to his previous level of power. Just a few issues later, he came back, cloned by Lex Luthor. This became the standard Doomsday going forward, and Superman beat his butt alone. He came back in Infinite Crisis, and 2 Superman beat him in just a few moments. Cyborg Superman fought him equally, several Kryptonians beat him to death. After the Impurex encounter, Doomsday became a much less eventful enemy. And that's not to say Doomsday isn't insanely powerful. He is 100%. This monster is a Superman killer. He is a Justice League buster. I don't think many heroes are going to be able to survive an encounter one-on-one with him. He's still one of the best, one of the strongest, one of the most powerful villains out there. He's still gonna be most any hero's Doomsday. Just all that being said, I think the Hulk might have it. See, when Hulk is operating at his best, well, he's got basically all the same caveats that he can throw at Doomsday. Infinite strength, literally no limits, and now you can add in being entirely unkillable. And while both have high highs and low lows, I think you can argue that Hulk's highs are much higher. Like, Doomsday's been able to regularly fight against Superman, and Superman has been able to regularly beat him. But Hulk has pulled off feats like fighting against a fully powered Odin Force Thor. And regardless of what you want to say about Superman versus Thor, Odin Force Thor is a whole different ballgame. That's like hyperversal stuff right there. Might be controversial here, but when we're considering both characters at their best, well, Hulk is operating on a higher level. He has more impressive feats and should take the win here. It would be a ridiculously hard fight and a ridiculously long fight, considering that both are pretty much impossible to actually put down. But ultimately, I have the Hulk winning here. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.